You submit the resume. You check the job board the next day, nothing. You check again 3 days later, still nothing. Not a rejection, not a request for an interview, just silence. You don't know if it was read, you don't know what they saw, and that's the part nobody talks about. My name is Damon, I'm a PMP certified project manager, and I've been on both sides of this conversation. I spent over a year sending out more than 300 applications before I landed my first PM role at a top tier bank in Canada. And more recently, I've been in the room, reviewing PM resumes, filtering applications, deciding who gets the call. This video is about what happens between the moment you click submit and the moment someone decides whether you move forward. Not tips about what to put on your resume. What the hiring managers actually sees when yours lands in front of them. Here's what most candidates assume. The hiring manager sits down, opens each resume, reads through it carefully, and makes a thoughtful decision about who to call. That's not what happens. In most PM hiring pipelines, the first pass isn't even done by the hiring manager. It goes through an applicant tracking system or a recruiter doing an initial filter before a human decision maker ever sees it. And when a human does look, they are not reading, they are scanning. Eye tracking research from the letter found that recruiters spend an average of 7.4 seconds on a resume during the initial screen. 7 seconds before deciding whether it goes to the next pile or gets filtered out. And that scan has a pattern: title, scope, company, results, recognizable signals. That's it. If none of those things trigger recognition in those first seconds, it doesn't matter what else is on the page. Here's the thing. Most candidates spend almost all of their energy on the parts that come after the 7-second scan. The summary, the formatting, the design. Almost nothing on the parts that matter in the first pass. Let me give you the full picture. Jan's 2026 recruiting benchmark analyzed data across thousands of companies. Recruiting teams are 14% smaller than they were in 2021. They are managing 93% more applications and 40% more open roles. The average recruiter in that report reviewed nearly 400 applications in a single month. And here's a number that should reset your expectations. Only 8% of applicants advanced past the initial screen, and only 0.5% received an offer. That's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to understand how selection actually works. In that environment, the hiring manager's job is risk reduction. They're not looking for most impressive resume. They're looking for the clearest signal that you can do the job, and they're making that call fast. So when your resume lands in front of them, they're asking one question, not "Is this person qualified?" They're asking, "Is this person a safe bet?" Vague language does not read as safe, it reads as unknown. Unknown goes to the no pile. And here's what makes that so costly. The screener is not deciding whether you can do the job. They're deciding whether your resume gives them enough to justify moving you forward. A candidate who could absolutely succeed in this role but has nothing on paper to prove it. No certification listed, no project described with scope or outcome, no industry context to anchor the experience. That candidate gets filtered out before they ever get a chance to say a word. The resume did not tell the screener what they needed to feel safe, so they moved on. It does not matter what you could have done in that role. What matters is what your resume made them believe before they ever met you. Think about it this way. If 10 people apply for a role, the recruiter has time. They read each one, they probably interview 5 of them, and somewhere in those conversations, they might find someone whose resume undersold them, but who was absolutely the right person for the job. That conversation happens. That candidate gets a chance. But that is not the world we're in right now. Hundreds of people are applying for a single position at the same time. The same Jan benchmark that showed recruiters handling 93% more applications also showed the average recruiter reviewing nearly 400 resumes in a single month. That's not 10. You do not get the benefit of the doubt at that volume. The screener is not looking for a reason to include you. They're looking for reasons to move on. Only the resumes that make the case clearly and quickly get the call. Everyone else gets silence. This is where I see most mid-career candidates lose the game. They have real experience. They have been running projects for years without a title. But on paper, nothing about their resume answers that risk question. Before I walk through this, let me be specific about what failure looks like. The most common resume I see from mid-career PM candidates has this pattern: strong job history, real companies, actual experience, and bullets that say things like responsible for managing cross-functional projects or supported the implementation of the new system. That language is invisible, not because it's wrong, because it tells me nothing about ownership, complexity, or outcome. And without those three things, I have no reason to fight for that candidate in the screening room. So here are the three signals that actually register in the first pass scan. Signal 1 is scope and complexity. How big was this? How many stakeholders? What were the constraints? A hiring manager needs to match your experience to the shape of their role. If a resume does not give them those dimensions, they cannot make the match. Signal 2 is PM thinking, not task execution. There is a difference between doing tasks and managing outcomes. The language gives it away. Words like responsible for, assisted with, and help to complete signal task execution. Words like aligned, escalated, de-risked, sequenced, and delivered signal PM thinking. Same experience, different language, and different result in the screening room. Signal 3 is evidence of outcome. Not what you did, but what changed because of it. Let the migration project tells me something happened. Let the migration project and reduce go-live delays from 3 weeks to 0 by resolving a vendor contract issue in week 2 tells me you were the one making the calls. That's the version that makes a hiring manager pause. Take any bullet on your current resume that starts with responsible for. Read it out loud. Ask yourself, does this tell me the scope, the decision, and the result? If it doesn't, that's exactly where to start rewriting. If you're listening to this and realizing the issue is not that you lack experience, but that your resume is not showing what you actually did, the next question is, where exactly is the gap? I built a free tool called the PM Career Changer Bottleneck Finder. It takes about 2 minutes. You answer a handful of questions, and it tells you exactly where your search is breaking down. Whether it is a resume, the applications, the interviews, or something else. Link is in the description. Let me address the question I get most often. What happens when a hiring manager sees a resume from someone who looks underqualified? Here's what actually happens. The same 7-second scan, and one of two decisions. Either there is enough signal to keep reading, or there's not. The word underqualified does not automatically end it. What ends it is a resume that gives the screener nothing to defend. Here's what I mean. In most organizations, the recruiter is trying to hand the hiring manager a short list they can justify. If your resume makes it easy for them to say, this person managed a 12-person cross-functional workstream, hit the deadline, and documented the outcome, they will include you even the title was not PM. If it says, manage various projects across departments, there is nothing to defend, nothing to fight for. The words various and multiple and cross-functional initiatives are some of the most expensive words on a PM resume. They describe scale without proving it. Replace them. Name the project. Name the stakeholders. Name what changed because of you. And this is where it gets interesting. The candidates who break through despite looking underqualified on paper are almost always the ones who translated their existing work into PM language. Not inflated, not fabricated, just framed correctly. The work was already PM work. They just wrote it like it was. Here's what I take from this. The hiring manager is not spending time with your resume. They're pattern matching for risk. The pattern they need to see is scope, PM thinking, and outcome. In every bullet that matters. The goal is not to impress them. The goal is to reduce their uncertainty. Make it easy for them to say yes. Make it hard for them to pass without at least wanting to know more. Here's the part most people get wrong when they decide to fix their resume. They start adding things. New certifications, a better summary, a cleaner layout, But the issue is rarely what's missing. When I walk through resumes with clients, the first thing we do is not rewriting everything. We go back through their entire work history and plot the PM work they have already been doing. Coordinating across teams, managing timelines, tracking risks, solving problems that nobody else owned, that work is already there. It just was not written like PM work. Once we translate it, the resume does not look padded. It looks accurate, and that's the shift that changes what the hiring manager sees. If you have not already, the bottleneck finder link is in the description. 2 minutes and you will know exactly where to focus. And if it turns out the resume is the issue, the next video goes deeper on exactly how to rewrite the bullets that are causing you the call. That one is worth watching before you apply anywhere else. I'll see you in the next one.